Hello, students. This is going to be our lecture for Chapter 11, the Health chapter. Health is definitely something that we take for granted at times. Let's say that you work full-time and you're also a full-time student. One of the things in your life that will eventually give out is your health. There are a lot of things that put demands on our bodies, physically and mentally and emotionally. It could be academic responsibilities, it could be monetary responsibilities, it could be professional responsibilities. We need to be on top of our health in order for us to be able to perform at our top level in our personal life, in our professional life, in our academic life, in our employment. As with every chapter, we're going to begin with a quote. Let's talk about what this one is from Josh Billings. Health is like money. We never have a true idea of its value until we lose it. This is definitely 100% completely true. I can tell you that there have been moments in my own life when I'm trying to do a lot of things. I'm trying to juggle my professional life, along with juggling my responsibilities at work and my personal life. I want to be the best and execute 100% of my abilities. And when I stress myself too much to perform different tasks, the first thing that goes is my health. And similarly, you might be going through some of these things yourself when you're trying to be the best student that you can be, the best employee that you can be, the best sister or brother or boyfriend or girlfriend. And at one time or another, one thing that's going to give out is your health. And you don't know its true value until you definitely don't have it and you're not able to even possibly get out of bed. We're going to try to avoid that through this chapter. Going to talk about some skills in order to keep having your health and being able to perform at your best. What are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about waking up to health, choosing your fuel, choosing to exercise, and choosing emotional health. We're going to be talking about developing a strong self-image, how to ask for help. One difficult topic, suicide and how it's not a solution. Choosing to stay safe, choosing sexual health, preventing infection and unwanted pregnancies. Alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, and the path from dependency to recovery. And again, this is just an introduction chapter. If you want to explore your health more and go into in-depth with every single one of these topics, definitely consider taking a health class at Mesa College, Health 101, or one of our also really good classes about nutrition. As with every single chapter from our personal growth class, we will be talking about the why, the what if, the how, and the what. The why we talk about health and personal growth is because succeeding in higher education calls for physical and emotional well-being. You might know by now that you cannot perform in any class and any test until you have a good functioning physical and emotional health. The how, as with every chapter, I want you to skim for techniques that you want to try this week, this month, or possibly this semester. And let's contemplate the idea of what if? What if I could meet the demands of daily life with energy and optimism to spare? That would be something I would like to strive for myself. There are times when the demands of my personal, professional, academic life are just too much, and sometimes the first thing that goes is optimism. I myself can grow with some of these skills from this chapter. I want to achieve being able to actually perform the demands of my daily life with energy and with hopefully optimism to spare. Let's talk about a word that means surrender. Life can be magnificent and satisfying, but also devastating. Sometimes there is too much pain or confusion in our lives. Life can bring us down and leave us feeling hopeless. A broken relationship, an illness within ourselves or within people we care about, a death of someone we love, the loss of a job, All these can leave us feeling powerless, and at times problems are out of our control. Surrendering is letting go of being the master in order to avoid becoming the slave. Many traditions share this idea. Western religions speak of surrendering to God. Hindus surrender to the self. Surrender means letting go and not controlling everything. We stop acting as the general manager of the universe. Surrender isn't giving up, though. It means doing whatever you can in a positive, trusting spirit. This quote by Sonia Riccati: surrender to what is, let go of what was, have faith in what will be. With this slide and with the content of this chapter, the author and what I also want to convey is surrendering in terms of not being in control of everything and that being okay. For a person that's a type A, that's a very methodical, responsible person, your instructor, surrendering is a technique that I need to work on myself. There are things beyond your control. There are circumstances that just are too much and you can't handle them. And it's okay and it's normal. It's a part of life. And at times you might just consider surrendering to what is, letting go, and letting life take over. Letting things resolve themselves. Letting go of being a perfectionist. Letting go of always wanting to have things done a certain way, surrendering to what is, surrendering to what life is going to bring about, and letting go of what you can't have control over. This is something I want you to try. I'm trying to actually do this myself. Having control over everything is not possible. There are things that are going to happen that are going to remove the balance of life, and it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say that that's just too much and I can't handle it, and to surrender to what will be. Let's talk about choosing your fuel. When I talk about fuel, I'm talking about food. Food is your primary fuel for your body and for your mind. There are a lot of books written about nutrition. One says don't drink milk. Others might say that calcium in milk is essential to diet. So there's disagreement, but at least there is agreement on just how to fuel yourself for health purposes. Today, the federal guidelines for nutrition are summarized visually as a dinner plate that you see in front of you. The idea is to eat more of the foods shown in the bigger section of the dinner plate. Eating more vegetables, more fruits, more grains, and more protein, and having a serving of dairy. Emphasize on fruits and vegetables, whole grains, fat-free, low-fat, and milk products. Include meats, poultry, fish, beans, eggs, and nuts. Choose foods low in saturated fats and trans fats and cholesterol, salt, and sugars. There's a website in front of you, www.choosemyplate.gov. that is going to tell you a little bit more about this process and how to choose food and making good choices. Some of you might be vegan, some of you might be vegetarian, pescatarian, some of you might include all different food sources in your meals. There is definitely more guidance needed in terms of making adequate choices for fuel. Consider taking an introduction to nutrition class at Mesa. Consider taking a health class at Mesa. If you're suffering from dietary purposes, consider seeing a dietitian. But as a rule of thumb, the federal government is going to recommend the plate in front of you as a good source of food intake for your daily lives. There is this author, his name is Michael Pollan. He's a New York Times Magazine writer, and he spent several years sorting out the scientific literature on nutrition. And the bottom line were actually these three findings. Eat food, choose whole, fresh foods over processed foods. Do not eat too much. If you want to manage your weight, then control how much you eat. Notice your portions, pass on unhealthy snacks. second servings, and desserts only on occasions. And mostly eat plants, fruits, vegetables, and grains are loaded with chemicals to prevent disease. He does not actually recommend diets. If you follow these 3 bottom line findings, eating food, choose whole fresh fruits over processed foods, not eating too much, and noticing your portions, and eating mostly plant-based foods, fruits and vegetables and grains, you will prevent disease and you will be functioning at an optimal level. Let's talk about choosing to exercise, something I try to incorporate into my daily living. Definitely weekly, there is exercise that involves my life. Some of you might play a sport. Some of you might be actually taking classes at a gym. Some of you might not exercise at all. So let's talk about these benefits. Our bodies need to be exercised, but we need to make the effort to exercise, especially in the Western world where we get a lot of things conveniently at a drive-in distance. Exercise promotes weight control and reduces the symptoms of depression. It helps prevent diseases. It also refreshes the body and the mind. If you get moving, you will have lean muscles, a strong heart, and an alert brain. Some tips: stay active throughout the day. Park a little further from work or school to walk a little bit more. Take the stairs when possible. An hour of daily activity is ideal, but do whatever you can. Some activity is better than none. Start slow and say brisk walk for 15 minutes every day, and then increase that gradually to maybe jogging several times a week. Adapt to your campus environment. Look for exercise facilities, take classes that actually have you moving. Take an exercise class, take a dance class, play sports. School can be a great place to stay in shape. Do what you enjoy. Stay active with aerobic activities that you actually enjoy. Maybe kickboxing at Mesa, or martial arts, or running, or yoga, ballroom dancing, mountain climbing. Some of these classes are definitely part of the curriculum at Mesa College. Vary your routine. Find several activities that you like to do and rotate them throughout the year. Maybe winter will be indoor sports like yoga or Pilates, and in the summer you can be outdoors like cycling. Get active early. Work out first thing in the morning. Make it part of your daily routine, just like brushing your teeth. If you don't start, you won't ever actually start to exercise. Exercise with other people. Make it fun. Make it a social affair. It can add a factor that's going to actually raise your commitment. Join a gym. Definitely don't disregard that. And look for gradual results. Don't expect a big impact the first time. Gradually, you will see the results. If your goal is to lose weight, be patient, because 1 pound equals 3,500 calories. There are a lot of factors that play into it. So when you weigh yourself, be patient. Let's talk about emotional health. The number of students in higher education with emotional problems is increasing. 31% of college students report that they have felt so depressed that it was difficult to function. Almost half of the students say that they felt overwhelmingly anxious, and 60% report that they felt very lonely. Emotional health issues include your skills at managing stress, your ability to build loving relationships, your capacity to meet school and work demands, and your beliefs about your own abilities to succeed. People with mental illness have thoughts, emotions, or behaviors that consistently interfere with these areas of life. You can take simple and immediate steps to prevent emotional health problems or cope with them as they occur. Let's talk about some of these. Taking care of your body. Eat well, exercise, and get sleep. Make your body a priority. Solve problems. Although you can't fix a bad feeling in the same way that you can fix a machine, you can choose to change a situation associated with that feeling. Sometimes an intense feeling or sadness or anger or fear is related to a specific situation in your life. Identify the problem, brainstorm solutions, and choose to implement them. Stay active. A related strategy is to do something, anything that's constructive, even if it's not a solution to a specific problem. For example, it is normal to cry and express your feelings but still feel miserable. It is also possible to go to class, run errands, and feel miserable at the same time. Unless you have a diagnosed depression or anxiety, you can continue your normal activities until the misery passes. We can all face our emotional pain directly and still take constructive action. Focus on one task at a time. It is easy to feel stressed if you dwell on how much you have to accomplish this year, this month, or even this week, or even by today. One solution is to plan ahead. Remember from chapter 2, time management? If you feel overwhelmed, just find the highest priority task on your to-do list. Do it with total attention until it is done, then go back to your list for the next high priority task. Don't believe everything you think. Psychologists believe that stress comes not from the events in our lives, but from the way we think about these events. If we believe, for example, that people should behave, we expect them to. We set ourselves up for misery when they don't. There are two main ways to deal with such things. First, don't believe them, dispute them and replace them with more realistic thoughts. And second, you can just release the stress-producing thoughts without disputing them. One way is to meditate. Meditation is definitely an exercise, a skill that you need to practice. Start slowly. Start with shutting out the world, being quiet and alone with yourself, your center, and your body, and continuing this practice until these negative beliefs and the things you can't control are okay, and you're okay with them. Remember that emotional pain is not a weakness. There is nothing wrong with feeling bad. Emotional pain has gotten a bad rep, but it's okay to feel miserable, sad, upset, angry, gloomy, or unhappy. It might not be pleasant to feel bad, but it can be good for you. Sometimes you have to feel the bad feeling in order to cope with it. It is normal to feel sad after a death, for example. If depression, though, sadness, or anger persists, then get some help. There is no way to know how long emotional pain will last. The main point is that it doesn't last forever. If it is continuous, make sure you seek professional help. Remember that at Mesa College, in Health Services, and the Student Services building on the second floor, you can get some help. Share what you are thinking or feeling. Revealing your inner world to someone you can trust can be powerful to gain perspective. At times, a simple act of describing a problem can sometimes reveal a solution or give you a fresh perspective. Get help. Remember, rule of thumb, whenever problems with your thinking, moods, or behavior consistently interfere with your ability to sleep, eat, or go to class, then seek out professional help. Mesa College, again, has free therapy services in the Student Services building on the second floor in Health Services. Let's talk about developing a strong self-image, something that's very important. Your self-image is the way you see yourself. It includes your beliefs. It includes your beliefs and feelings about your potential to succeed. The strength of your self-image can gradually be reduced over time if you buy into the reduced sense of your own possibilities in life. A strong self-image allows you to tackle problems with confidence, to set long-term goals, to see difficult tasks as challenges rather than potential disasters. With a strong self-image, you believe that your actions count. You see yourself as a person who can make a positive difference in the world and that can take on things and achieve them. Self-image, though, tends to be flexible. It changes over time, and you can influence it with the following strategies. Set up situations in which you can win. Start with planning scenarios in which you can succeed. For example, set yourself up for success by breaking a big project down into small, doable tasks, then tackle them and complete them, and this will help you move on to the next task with higher self-efficacy, and you will feel better about yourself. Set goals with care. If you want to boost your self-image, be picky about your goals. Research says that goals that are easy to reach do not make much difference in the way you see yourself. Instead, set goals that you can call upon to overcome obstacles, make persistent effort, and even fail. Failing is okay. It's a growing experience. Adopt a model. Model refers to someone who is similar to you in key ways and who succeeds in the kinds of situations in which you want to succeed. So have a role model, someone you can look up to and want to emulate. It could be a professor, a mentor, a friend, a colleague, your mother, your father, an older sibling. Change the conversation about yourself. Monitor what you say and think about yourself. Remember that your self-talk might also be habitual and you don't even notice it. Whether or not you are aware of these thoughts, they can break your sense of self-image. How many times of a day do you say to yourself, you're stupid, or wow, that was smart? Pay attention. Notice when you speak or think negatively about yourself. People with strong self-image attribute their failures to skills that they currently lack, that they will acquire in the future. Compare yourself only to yourself. Our own failures are often more dramatic to us than the failures of others. Our own successes are often more invisible to us. When we look around, we start a comparison game, and with this, we open the door to self-doubt. So compare yourself only to you. Measure your success in terms of self-improvement rather than in terms of triumphs over others. And surround yourself with support. Seek people out who share your values and support your goals. This might mean beyond your family. Join a study group, get to know your instructors, meet with your advisor, and get involved in campus organizations. Find supportive people. Be willing to receive their encouragement. Receive others' compliments well, and take credit for your successes. Take-home message here also, take credit for your successes. Let's talk about asking for help. The world responds to people who actually ask. If you're not getting what you want out of life, consider the power asking for help. Remember that phrase that we often hear others say, ask and you shall receive? It's a gem of wisdom from many spiritual traditions, yet acting on this idea is challenging. Some people see asking for help as a sign of weakness. Actually, it's a sign of strength. Also, remember that asking for help pays someone a compliment. It means that you value what people have to say. So some skills for asking help. Ask with clarity. Before asking for help, think about it. Take time to prepare. The way you ask has a great influence on the answers you may get. Instead of saying, I need help with money, you can be more specific and ask, do you know any sources of financial aid that I might have missed? Ask with sincerity. People can tell when a request comes from the heart. Also, remember that you're asking for help, not making a speech. Keep it simple and direct. Just let the person know about the situation, what you want, and that gap between the two. Ask widely. Consider the variety of people who can offer help. They include parents, classmates, coworkers, mentors, advisors, counselors, professors. Also, be willing to ask for help with tough issues in any areas of life. It could be sex, health, money, career. Also, ask appropriately. You might not want to ask your professor about sex unless this is a health class or a sexual psychology class, but you might ask the school therapist with opinions and with help about sex. It really depends on who you ask and their knowledge and your comfort with them. Ask with an open mind. When you ask for help, see whether you can truly open up. If you find yourself not being able to do so, pause and reflect. Discomfort can be a sign that you're about to make a valuable discovery about yourself. Ask with responsibility. Do not start by being judgmental. You know the last piece of advice you gave me? Well, it really sucked. Try to avoid saying those things. I doubt someone might help you again if you say that. Ask with opening for more ideas. Example, do you have any other ideas for me? Often, approaching people with a way that takes the conversation to a new place can actually do wonders. And ask again. Sometimes people say no because they're surprised or are not sure how to respond. Give them more time and another chance to come around. Let's talk about choosing to stay safe. Choosing to stay safe, this can mean a lot of different things. Remember that you are your first priority and take heed of these advice. Take heed of this advice. Take general precautions. Always lock doors when you're away from home or when you are at home alone. If you live in a dorm, be extra safe. Don't let any person that you don't know come in the door behind you. If you commute to campus, leave doors locked. Also avoid walking alone, especially at night. Our school offers police escort. Actually use it. Mesa does this all the time for students at night. Call the campus police And as a backup, always have maybe pepper spray, which is something that our female students carry just in case. As a backup, always have cash on you in case you need a taxi ride, or also download apps like Uber or Lyft to pick up, but also be cautious with these services as well. Also be prepared for a crisis. Ask about what to do in classroom emergencies. Look for emergency routes. Have the campus police number available on your phone on speed dial. Something to keep in mind, preventing sexual assault. While you're on campus, you're responsible for helping prevent sexual assault. People often fail to report rape for many reasons, such as fear, embarrassment, and concerns that others won't actually believe them. Both women and men can take steps to prevent rape from occurring in the first place. Get to know your campus. Make note of dangerous spots where there's no visibility, spots where there are not two people around. Unguarded buildings. Know what times the buildings open and close. Keep in mind that at any time an assault can occur in daylight or nighttime. Ask if the school has police escort services, especially for night cases. Remember that Mesa does offer this. And take a class on self-defense. Guys, Mesa offers kickboxing classes. Let's talk about choosing sexual health. People with STDs or STIs, sexually transmitted diseases, or sexually transmitted infections, might feel no symptoms for years and not even discover that they are infected. Know how to protect yourself. STIs can result from vaginal sex, oral sex, anal sex, and any other way that people can contact semen and vaginal secretions with blood. Without treatment, some of these infections can lead to blindness, infertility, cancer, heart disease, or even death. There are at least 25 kinds of STIs. Common examples are chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis. Sexual contact can also spread HPV, the cause of cervical cancer, and the HIV virus that can cause AIDS. Most STIs can be cured if treated early. Herpes and AIDS are important exceptions. Let's talk about some tips in order to help you in your sexual health. Abstain from sex or have sex exclusively with one person who is free of infection and has no other sex partners. Talk to your partner before you have sex with someone. Talk about the risk of STIs, and if you're infected, tell your partner. Ask your partner as well if they've ever been infected. Use condoms. Male condoms prevent semen from entering the vagina. Use a condom for every time you have sex and for any type of sex. For most protection, use condoms all the time. Take action soon after you have sex. Urinate soon after you have sex. Wash your genitals with soap and water. Get vaccinated. Vaccines are available to protect from HPV, so talk to your doctor. Get screened for STIs. The only way to know if you're infected is to get screened by a doctor. If you have sex with more than one person, get screened for STIs at least once per year. The more people you have sex with, the greater the risk of STIs, but you are also at risk even if you only have sex with one person, as long as that person is infected. Recognize the symptoms of STIs: swollen glands, fevers, aching, itching around the genitals, discharges of the genitals, pain during sex or while urinating, sore throat following oral sex, anal pain after anal sex, sores, blisters, scabs, or warts in the genitals, anus or tongue or throat, possibly dark urine color, loose and light color stools, and night sweats. Get treated right away. If you think you have an STI, go to the doctor right away. Go to the Mesa nurse. Choose to have good sexual health and use these tips before you actually engage in sexual intercourse of any kind with any partner. I want you to read and review these tips for sexual health on pages 335 to 338 on how to prevent unwanted pregnancy. It's definitely something that I want you to read more than me talk about. It is something that at times can be more personal. So for this, I want you guys to read through the pages and touch upon these bullets of how to prevent unwanted pregnancies by abstinence, by barrier methods, by natural family planning. Consider Planned Parenthood whenever it's still possible in your area. Consider going to Planned Parenthood. Also hormonal methods, implants, emergency contraceptives for next day, permanent methods, withdrawal does not work all the time, evaluating your birth control methods, and knowing where to get birth control. Let's talk about choosing freedom from distress. Accept your physical sensations. Sometimes stress can be too much that you need to actually acknowledge how your body is talking to you and letting you know that stress is too much right now. It could have the form of not sleeping, not eating, not being hungry, not being able to use the facilities, in this case using the restroom. One of the ways you can free yourself from all the stress is changing your thought processes. We did mention meditation. Changing how you think about something, maybe not needing to be in control of everything, surrendering and letting go. Meditating is something that you can do together in a class or with a partner or by yourself. Solving problems one by one can help your distress. Taking care of your body is key. Listening to your body physically, mentally, and emotionally. Finding alternatives to any chemicals. And by chemicals, we mean drugs, any sort of drug, whether it's over the counter or not, alcohol, or even tobacco. And if there are moments that you're going through when you are not able to cope yourself, reach out for help. Again, Mesa College has the second floor, student health services, where you can find a therapist you can talk to or other resources that are free to students. And for the last slide in our presentation, choose your stress management techniques. If you're going through a lot of stress in your life, monitor it. Think about what causes your chronic stress in your life. Think about what strategies you've used to cope with the stress. Do you need to talk to someone? Do you need to meditate? How do you cope with stress yourself? And also think about strategies that have worked well for you in the past. Also ask yourself, do you feel you need to make any changes in the way you manage your stress? Are you maybe lashing out too much to others? Resolve to work on healthy de-stress activities. We go back to eating well, exercising, maybe joining a self-help group, maybe doing something for fun that reduces stress. College life can be stressful when managing school responsibilities, wanting to achieve those perfect grades because you have the stress of transfer and money issues, work life, family life, things that might be going on with those around you that you love. Try to work on yourself first, because if you're not at optimal health, physical, mental, and emotional, you can't help anybody else. So go through this chapter again to see if you can find any 3 strategies that you want to use this week, this month, or this semester in order to manage your health better. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next chapter.